Am I the asshole for telling my husband I don't want to homeschool his kids? Am I the asshole for telling my husband that I really don't want to homeschool his kids? We have 4 kids, 2 teens and a 10-yo girl and 1 yo boy. 1 teen and the 10-yo are his from a previous woman. Our 1 yo is ours together and my teen daughter from my ex. He told me he really wants me to homeschool both his schoolage kids. His 10-yo is a handful. We have a mostly good relationship now, but the first couple years was bumpy and she still has problems following rules and instructions. So I can imagine teaching her anything would put a serious wedge between us, and his teen son doesn't listen to me at all. He's very disobedient. The school year when they go to school, very nice private school by the way, it's a nice break for me and I'm a som and I also help with his business on top of taking care of all house chores and cooking, shopping and the kids plus their homework and taking them to all after school and summer activities. I think I would lose my mind if I had to add homeschooling to my plate. Am I wrong for telling him I need that break each day away from the kids? Edit. To answer any questions, he wants me to HS to avoid bad influence, but they have been going to school their entire school-age lives, they have already been influenced, that ship sailed. I am 100% not qualified to teach, nor do I have the patience. When his daughter fell behind in math I would help her with homework, and even with all distractions off, she could not focus on the task and would bounce around, ask unrelated questions and not pay attention to what I am teaching. So I can imagine teaching her would be a nightmare for both of us. I get allowance each month plus bills paid, access to card and bank account, so our marriage outside of him bugging me about HS is great. He takes good care of us, but the fact that he's asked so many times and I have told him that me teaching them would hurt their education and also our relationship plus the many other valid reasons, and that still hasn't deterred him, makes me question if he truly sees everything I do and if it's enough. I don't want to be selfish, I would do anything for my kids and my family, but that also means putting my foot down on something that I know could be detrimental to them even if he doesn't see it. I'm a relatively well-educated father. Double major in college, law school graduate and practicing attorney for almost 40 years, with a 35-year-old and a 14-year-old. I would have packed up everything and moved to Outer Mongolia had I tried homeschooling either of them. Homeschooling requires a level of commitment that very few can muster. The selfishness of your significant other demanding you take on this role against your better judgment is breathtaking. Not the asshole. Why does he even want the kids homeschooled if their current school is good? I agree that homeschooling would be too much on your plate, especially since there isn't a clear reason why homeschooling is superior in this case. Not the asshole. Not only can he not just demand it, but how can you teach basically 4 different grades at the same time to 4 different kids? Did he give any reason why he wants you to homeschool? Info. Why does he suddenly want his teen and 10 years old homeschooled? I absolutely say not the asshole because the expectation of you becoming a teacher for middle school and high school students is insane, but I am curious as to the why. I can't imagine the kids would be thrilled either. Not the asshole. Tell him he's welcome to homeschool his kids, he'll just have to do it when he's home. You won't be available during the day, so he'll also need to organize a sitter for them from 9-3. Being a stay-at-home mom is already hard work. Homeschooling on top of that makes it worse. Add to that, homeschooling is almost universally terrible for the kids. Some make it out fine, and some parents put in the effort to find a cruelly good lesson plans. But most of the time, kids who are homeschooled wind up poorly adjusted, poorly educated idiots. To be fair, some school boards are so captured by observatives that the public schools aren't much better. Am I the asshole for excluding my daughter from a movie night? I, 40 male and my wife 39 female, have 3 great kids, 13 male, 12 female, and 9 female. Our youngest daughter doesn't handle horror very well, she can only handle Scooby-Doo, and even that is sometimes too scary for her. But she of course wants to see scary stuff and throws temper tantrums when we say no. Last night my wife and our 2 older kids wanted to watch Alien, and we figured we'd watch it after our youngest daughter was in bed. Since it's summer, we've bumped her bedtime up to 9:30. After my wife and I put our daughter to bed, we went downstairs to start the movie. After the movie had started, our youngest daughter came down and asked what movie we were watching. We asked her why she wasn't in bed, and she said she heard her sister mention that we were gonna watch a movie and asked if she could watch too. We told her no because it was too scary for her, but she kept insisting that she could handle it. I eventually firmly told her no, but she kept insisting that she could handle it. So I picked her up and carried her back to her bed. She screamed and protested the whole time, saying, "No daddy, I want to watch the movie." When I tucked her back in bed, she kept protesting, saying it wasn't fair to have family movie time without her. That's when I said to her, "This is not family movie time, this is a time for people who are big enough for scary movies, and you're too little for scary movies." She said, "No daddy, I'm big enough for scary movies," and tried to get out of bed. That's when I raised my voice and firmly told her, No, you're too little for scary movies and it is past your bedtime now. If you get out of bed again, you're in trouble. I then tucked her back into bed and kissed her goodnight. Then we all watched the movie as planned. We could hear our daughter screaming and having a tantrum from upstairs for a while, but we ignored it and it did stop. I thought I handled it fine until today when my wife came to me very upset with me for how I handled it. She said it would have been better to just let her watch a movie that was appropriate for her with us and then put her to bed and watch Alien, because then she wouldn't have felt excluded. I disagreed because our daughter knew it was past her bedtime. But my wife still thinks I didn't handle it right. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. You were firm. You explained the rules and you stuck to them. Nothing wrong with that. I disagree with your wife. Why should the family sit through another movie to placate the younger daughter before watching what they wanted to see? Besides, the daughter said she wanted to see Alien, not some non-scary movie. She still would have complained. You taught your daughter that she can't get around the rules by throwing a fit. Not the asshole. You waited until she was in bed. Regardless of what you all were doing, she should have been in bed. Allowing her privileges because she throws a tantrum sends the wrong message. Not the asshole, as you do not want to reward a tantrum. But next time, I go with viewing a family movie all together before putting on the scary movie after her bedtime. Not the asshole. Don't even engage with her next time about the movie itself, because it's not about the movie, it's past her bedtime. That's it. She cannot stay up past her bedtime. What you guys do after she goes to bed is your business, not hers. She is totally allowed to ask politely to stay up, you are totally allowed to say no. But I think the movie aspect might have really worked her up. Next time make sure that the other kids don't mention movie night to her and just treat it like normal bedtime. Then, I'd wait maybe 45 minutes after she goes to bed to make sure she's sleeping. Not the asshole. It's not about big enough, it's about handling the horror. I'm 40 and I absolutely can't handle it. Even trailers for horror films impact my sleep. She is old enough to start learning that not everything is for everyone. She won't enjoy it and you were watching after her bedtime. Not the asshole for how you handled it, but perhaps next time make it a double feature with, movie first before the youngest goes to bed. Your older kids deserve to be able to watch what they like instead of being limited to milder stuff, but watching movies together is important, they need to watch both. Am I the asshole because I told my ex-husband he can't get a new dog until I move out? So my F31 ex-husband, M33, just broke up in March of this year. I won't go into details about it, but he sprung it on me quite suddenly. We just bought a house together a little over a year ago and we've both been living there in the meantime while I look for a new place to live and our lawyers figure out the financial details. I'm not particularly attached to the house, so I don't mind moving, but it takes time. I currently have one 14-year-old Chihuahua mix who was my dog before I met my ex-husband, so I will be keeping the dog with me. Ex loves dogs and spoke a lot about wanting to get another dog. He even showed me specific other dogs he had been considering just a few weeks before he dumped me. He now tells me that one of the reasons he wanted another dog so bad was that he could have a dog that was just his. He recently sent me a message asking if it would be okay for him to get another dog soon, while I'm still in the house. I told him no because he works quite a bit and I don't have a day job, I'm an artist. So I'd be the one at home all day taking care of this new dog. I also said it was unfair to my dog to make him socialize with a new dog all of a sudden, especially since we won't be staying here. My dog is old and not super friendly to other dogs. I do feel a little bad that X still helps with my dog, but him and my dog have lived together for like 8 years, so of course my dog still loves him and asks for attention from him. The dog doesn't know what's going on. It's also not like he needs very much care. X just gives him food in the morning and lets him outside a few times and lets him snuggle with him. X said that he didn't expect this whole divorce, me moving out process to take so long and tried to make me feel guilty by saying a lot of the dogs he looks at are at shelters where they'll be put down soon if they're not adopted. Am I the asshole for just telling him to wait and not look at new dogs until I'm gone? Not the asshole. He wants to get himself a dog now, while you're still living there, so you can help take care of it while it adjusts to its new home. He knows that if he waits until after you move out, he's going to have a harder time taking care of it on his own while he works full time. He's also obviously trying to make you feel guilty with the dogs and shelters comment. Not the asshole. It's okay for him to ask. It's okay for you to say no. His comments about shelter dogs being put down was manipulative, so that makes him taw. Whenever he does adopt, he will save that animal. Not the asshole. If he wants a new dog so badly and the divorce process is taking too long, he can move out. Edit. Clarity. Not the asshole. If he wants a dog that's just his, wouldn't he want to wait until it's just him living there? Not the asshole, and if your ex is in such a rush to get a dog, he can move out until you are in a position to do so. He doesn't get to lumber you with looking after his dog. I won't even get started on the selfishness of expecting your dog to bond with another animal that shortly won't be in its life. Not the asshole. Tell him if it takes too long for him, he can move out and get a new dog at the new place. You are trying to find new living conditions, and when you moved, he can get a dog. But I think he should also look for a new place, as I don't think you want to gift him your part of the house or he will be able to buy you out. Am I the asshole for asking my partner's sister to leave after she disrespected us in our own home? My partner, 28F, and I, 25F, have been together for a while and worked hard to build a calm, independent life for ourselves. We both came from rocky family backgrounds, but have created a soft, stable life, filled with communication, compassion, and just peace. Recently, her younger sister, 19F, came to us for help. She has a lot of unresolved mental health issues that she refuses to address. She's not working, doesn't have a high school diploma, and is currently on social assistance. She had been living with their emotionally abusive father but got them kicked out of their last apartment after mouthing off to the landlord. She had reason to be upset, but the way she handled it escalated things unnecessarily. She reached out to us because she needed help finding housing in the city and wasn't sure if social assistance would cover rent. We agreed to help. We found her a place, paid her first month's rent and damage deposit, bought her some groceries and essentials, and even gave her a bunch of stuff from around our house to help her get started. We also agreed to cover any financial gaps that she had until she found a job, paying for her groceries or her bills that she couldn't afford. Before moving into her new place, we let her stay with us for a few days. The only condition was that while we were away on vacation, 5 days, she would take care of our 3 cats and keep the place reasonably tidy. We sent her clear messages about what was expected, including reminders during our trip. When we got home, the house was disgusting. The cat litter hadn't been touched, the kitchen was a mess, and the house smelled. I had to clean the kitchen before I could make supper for the 3 of us. My partner dealt with the cat litter. Later, my partner gently brought it up with her. She reminded her that we were doing her a favor, and that not taking care of the house was disrespectful. Her sister completely lost it, screaming at us, calling us bitches, saying we were OCD, we're not. Our house is just normally clean but lived in, and telling us we were on some kind of high horse and didn't care about her. She then started crying and yelling more. We told her that if she was going to continue behaving that way, she needed to leave. She stormed outside and sat on the front steps, calling everyone she knew and telling them we kicked her out. For me, it's not about the state of the house, although it was gross. It's about the repeated disrespect. Every time she's around, she's yelling, angry, or emotionally explosive toward my partner. I've reached my limit. So, am I the asshole for telling her to leave and not tolerating this behavior in our home anymore? Not the asshole. She clearly needs help and not the kind you and your partner can give her. She needs therapy and maybe meds. And she needs to grow TF up. Are there social services in your area that may be able to help her? Is her mom in the picture? Any other family, that's not you too. You do not have to put up with disrespect in your own home. You do not need this burden. You were very kind to try and try again. Not the asshole. She's way too old to be behaving like that. When she loses the apartment you found her, don't let her move back in. Not the asshole. This young woman has somehow come to the conclusion that she has the right to treat anyone any way she wants, as rudely as she likes, and still expect them to provide for her. That needs to end. You're not the asshole and she's a rude, immature who needs to learn not to bite the hand that feeds and houses her. We found her a place, paid her first month's rent and damage deposit. I can reasonably predict that you won't be getting that damage deposit back. Consider it a gift along with everything else you spent on her. Not the asshole. She wasn't planning on getting out. She was planning on keeping her behavior and you all taking care of her for life. I hope you took pictures to show everyone the way she left things. I hope you get her out of there and change the locks. Not the assholes. She is too much for you to handle. She needs professional help.